So I wanted to pose a question for Canadians out there. Because there's all this talk, and I know there's been talk for many, many years, and they've been alluding to it in films and politics and mainstream media and all that, about the separation between Canada and the United States. And I know when I was growing up, you know, pre-2001 there, yeah, we could cross the border without a passport. And now of course, we have to do that. But I keep thinking about why our buddy, the former Prime Minister, Mr. Trudeau, why he spent most of his 10 years destroying any national identity. Why everything that was kind of sacred here, he went after and tried to destroy. And he kind of did it in such a way that, you know, 90% of Canadians, even people that loved being Canadian, loved this country. Like they, you know, we basically hate the nation now. Most people, right? They don't want to live here anymore. Most people are like, man, let's just move to the United States, or let's move to Europe or Fiji. Anywhere but here, right? Like we pay over 50% tax, right? If you live in Vancouver, make $1 million, you're going to pay over 500 grand in tax. And then of course you got to pay another 15% tax on whatever you buy, right? And my question is, what is the benefit to being Canadian over, say, being an American? Any state, okay? Any state. Because I know in some states like Idaho and a few other ones, right, there's no property tax. That alone makes me want to leave Canada. Not to mention the taxes I just mentioned, but everybody's like, oh, we at least have health care, right? Again, our healthcare system went out of its way to try and kill us from 2021 to 2023, you know, and countless people did die or were maimed, but separate issue. So that's my question. What is the benefit of being Canadian anymore, right? Because if you could go to, let's just say, you can get health insurance, and say you're paying $100 a month for health insurance in Idaho, right? No property taxes, and their dollar is worth way more. And let's just say you have a standard job, you're making $50,000, $60,000 a year. $100 a month for health insurance, right? Like, what's the big deal here, guys? We're all in a better situation, as far as I can tell, just by walking across the border. And I find it hilarious that so many Americans come to Canada. Like, it's like, why? You know, if you go like there, what is it? Toronto, Montreal, Brampton, Vancouver, you know, they're over 50% non-Canadian now, right? They're all foreign born. And it doesn't seem to be making any of these cities more livable. Like, our cost of living is skyrocketing, and it's like, it's impossible for anybody under the age that was born 40 years ago to buy a house now. And if they do, they're basically slaves to that house forever. And I know there's certain states that it's not much better, but even in California, where they have, as far as my understanding, where they have the highest tax in the United States, Alberta, which is the lowest tax in Canada, is still higher than that. What, like, and you see Americans, right? They're leaving California in droves, especially after these, you know, false fires here. They're all going to Texas, right? They're all going to other states where they can make money. The insurance companies left California because they can't make any money, right? It's like, what is the benefit of living in Canada? Somebody tell me. You know, here's another thing. We would no longer have a king. We would no longer basically be owned by some random monarch in some other country that we've never been to, right? So anyway, I'm just throwing a few thoughts out there. Curious if anybody has anything to tell me, but I can't see any real reason to stay Canadian anymore. You know, if we could reduce the cost of living, if Canadians themselves could actually get a cut of our national resources, if we could lower our taxes to a reasonable amount, like a, you know, standard 10%, as it should be, then hey, yeah, Canada would be the greatest place in the world to live, right? We'd be the wealthiest population in the world based on how many resources we have for the 37 million people that are here. But right now we're a nanny state. We pay so much tax and cost of living that it doesn't even matter how much more money you make. You'll never get ahead, right? 90% of people will never get ahead. We're all kind of suffering in silence, and that's why they legalize weed. Anyway, just a thought. Let me know what you guys think.